Hey guys, so I thought I'd make a quick video on LangGraph. So right now, yeah, agents are the big thing. We are seeing agents everywhere in SaaS products, chatbots, everywhere. And LangGraph is literally the framework that is powering all the agents, like in all the big companies, all those SaaS products. So LangGraph is the framework that is powering it. So LangGraph is made by this company called LangChain. So these are the predominant players in the AI space. So I thought we'll just go over the basics of LangGraph, or what exactly it is and what it does. Uh, so LangGraph, let's just look at what LangGraph does. So first of all, even before going and like exploring what LangGraph is, we should understand what an agent is, right? Like maybe it sounds really fancy, but it's a pretty simple term. So an agent is a system that uses an LLM to decide the control flow of an application, right? So just an LLM, it just spits out a bunch of text, right? But with agent, you have a lot of control. So essentially, you're giving the LLM the option to route and like the option to choose different paths, right? So that is what an agent is. And let's go and like explore what LangGraph is. So a LangGraph is a framework to build agents and perform complex tasks with high level of control. Right. So this is what LangGraph is, and let's also explore how LangGraph is different from LangChain. So LangChain initially came out, and it was pretty good, right? Like you could pipe in, you could chain different LLMs together, and you could do RAG, so basically retrieval augmented generation, and you could even trace all the LLM calls and stuff like that, and you could pass in structured outputs. But as LLMs developed, as LLMs got more powerful, as they got tool calling options and all, it was hard. Like it required a framework to properly orchestrate it, right? So you can think of LangGraph as an orchestration platform for the LLMs, where you have like really fine-tuned control of how you how to maintain those agents. So that is what LangGraph is. And let us see the drawbacks of just using LLM, right? So LLMs are non-deterministic, meaning like you would have noticed it, right? Like you give it a specific question, sometimes it is really off, like, and the next time you try it, it is something else altogether. And there is a problem of hallucination. So maybe you ask it a specific question, but it gives like a completely different answer. So LLMs do hallucinate. And currently, a lot of LLMs don't have access to the external tools, so they can't really access your, let's say, your email. They can't access other personal data that you have, and it is a black box, right? So the level of control that you have is that you just give it a question, but what happens behind the scenes, you don't really know. It is completely a black box. And right now, human in the loop isn't possible. Meaning, let's say you give it a specific task, in between, you can't check for the initial result and then go on with the next one. So the human in the loop is not possible, and even chaining of LLMs is not possible. Let us say you want to chain a model by Anthropic with a model from OpenAI. So that is not really possible without these frameworks, right? So that is that. And now let's just quickly go through LangGraph, right? Like the absolute basics of LangGraph. So this, I'm using LangGraph Studio. So LangGraph Studio is just a interface wherein I can see how my agent looks like. So here I have a really simple agent that takes an email and it summarizes and it gives me a reply. So this is a super easy, super simple agent. So let us look at what these things mean, right? So yeah, let us like just go over the basic concepts. So LangGraph is made up of three main components, right? Like the main concept is there is a concept of state. So a state is a shared data structure that represents the current snapshot of your application. So if you're aware of this concept of state machines, a state machine. So basically, through between different functions, the flow of state, it's the same concept. So LangGraph works on the concept of state machine. So within all these different agents, so you can think of manager as a different agent, a retriever as a different agent, and compiler as a different agent. The state the state remains the same. So maybe manager just modifies the state a bit, but the data structure, the state remains the same. So that is consistency. So that is what state is. And what is a node? So you can think those individual assistants that you're seeing, these are nodes, right? So nodes are something that can cause a side effect or can modify the state, right? So maybe you pass in a specific state, maybe you pass in a specific email, and let us say there is a email writing agent, and it modifies the email to a different language, right? So that is a state modification, and the LLM can perform those state modifications. So that is the concept of a node. And edges are basically something that ties up everything together and connects different nodes, right? So you basically can define functions. You can say that if a specific mail is in English, only then proceed, and if it is in another language, like just end it. So you can define those kind of conditions, right? So let us just look at this in a visualized manner. So I can give it a I can give it. So this is my state, right? I've defined a state, and I've just passed in a simple message. And right now, there is a manager, and it has three options. It can route it to a retriever, it can go to a compiler, or it can directly in. Right? In this case, it took the compiler compiled everything, and it just like replied to the mail. Right. So this is the basic concept of LangGraph. I'm planning on exploring this more, and I'm planning on making more such videos where I go in and make like really complex LangGraph applications. So yeah, that's pretty much it.